Cooked food. Should you keep it or kick it? Welcome back for another video to Recalibrate with Nate. And in this video, I wanted to talk to you about whether or not you should keep cooked food in your diet or whether you should kick it to the curb. Now, this is a tricky one. It really depends on your why. Why do you want to eat more raw foods? Well, you gotta ask yourself, why do we eat, really? Why are we eating? We're eating for the fuel. We eat for the energy. We eat for the nourishment, right? And of course, cooked food has nourishing properties. There's some people that come into this way of life of wanting to be a raw foodie, and they think the cooked food is toxic, it's evil, it's addictive, and all these sort of aspects about cooked food that can really kind of mess with your mindset, and that can be a little tricky. Having your mindset be messed with, kind of thinking like, I have to do this, I have to be a completely 100% raw foodist, and I cannot have any cooked food. Now, of course, there's certain individuals that maybe that's what they need to do. For me personally, I just wanted to eat raw foods. It made sense to me. Like, I want to be alive, I want to be thriving, and if you are what you eat, you should be eating living and thriving foods. Foods that are in their natural state, the way Mother Nature designed them. They're really untouched in a lot of ways. Of course, the way that food is grown, I know there's different things that these growers have to do to make sure that their crops are not being wiped out by elements and insects and stuff, right? So they're spraying things and such, right? So maybe it's not completely natural, like you're finding something out in the wild, but raw food is absolutely incredible in so many ways. But whether or not you should kick cooked food to the curb or keep it is something that I feel is something that we all have to ask ourselves within. Maybe some of us really do want to keep cooked food in our life, but we want to eat a high raw diet. Or maybe we just want to eat raw for breakfast, or we want to eat raw every single day at lunch. That's going to be better than eating all cooked food. The idea of raw foods is that it's just in that natural state. It's easier for your body to recognize what it is. It's easy to assimilate it and break it down. It's got all this amazing fiber in it. It's hydrating because it's full of water. These kinds of things are really going to help us in the long term. So one thing that I'm a real proponent for, and say if I'm talking to someone on the trail and we get on the topic of food, which always seems to come up for some reason. Maybe it's me bringing it up, maybe it's them bringing it up, but I tell them what I do, and I say, I'm a raw foodie, when it comes to what I eat, and, I'm a recipe creator. My wife and I, we create recipe books, we create meal plans, and that kind of intrigues them, and they think, well, shoot, like, you don't eat any cooked food? And I'm like, no, I don't eat any cooked food, but, say for you, if you want to start eating more raw food, just eat more raw food. Maybe you keep the cooked food in. Maybe you do the raw till 4 kind of thing, which I really love this concept. So what I tell people is I'm like, hey, maybe give it a shot. Just don't worry about eliminating things from your diet. Just add more to your diet. This is a great way to incorporate more of these raw foods. If you start out your morning with a delicious smoothie or a big plate of fruit or something, very possibly, that right there is going to help you start to incorporate more of these raw foods. Then you're like, what? I just want some fruit for a snack. A melon is on sale. I'm going to have a melon for my snack. Eat the whole melon. Boom, there's your snack. Lunch comes around. You're like, what? Maybe I'm just going to have a raw salad. Yeah, so that you eat a salad, and then dinner comes around, and you're like, what? I'm ready for some rice and beans. Some like a tofu scramble burrito or something rather. Nothing wrong with that. That is still going to be better than if you were not to eat any raw food at all. So whether or not you should kick it to the curb or keep it is really up to you. And, like I said, what I really am a proponent for is I like to think 70%. If you're eating 70% of your calories from raw foods, you're technically a raw foodie. If you're eating 70 to 80% of your calories from raw foods, you're a raw foodie. So that leaves you 30 to 20%, 30% if you're eating 70%, 20% if you're eating 80%. That other 20 to 30% is from cooked food, whole food, plant-based, preferably, no animal products. We don't really need the animal products in our life. We can see, if you research into nutrition and you research into some of the data and stuff that's coming out, the different sciences, we have no real need to have animal products, the flesh and fluids in our diet for optimum health, if you are balanced with what you're eating. So, but 70%, 80% raw. Now you 20 to 30% cooked whole food plant-based. Boom, maybe you keep that in. Maybe that is absolutely perfect for you. There's nothing wrong with that. And right there, you could classify yourself as a raw foodie. You could be like, yeah, I'm a raw foodie. If to yourself, tell yourself, I'm a raw foodie. I'm a raw foodie today. This is my thing. Maybe you eat raw all weekend or all week, or maybe just one day. Not a big deal. You don't have to necessarily kick everything to the curb and be one thing completely 100% overnight. It might take a little while to realize, gosh, I just feel amazing. I'm gonna eat raw for this entire week. I'm gonna eat raw for this entire month. And then maybe you wanna have some rice and beans. Maybe you're gonna go out and have some vegan pizza with your friends. No big deal. This is the part that's tricky, is people beating themselves up and, I don't know, getting into kind of a disordered relationship with their food. Look, cooked food isn't gonna hurt you. Like, there's people living, their whole life eating cooked food. We can also see with the different studies and research coming out, people are reversing cancers. They're reversing heart disease. Eating cooked whole food plant-based, no animal products, right? Getting away from as much of the animal products as you can is going to be the most beneficial, and that's something I'm a massive proponent for. We don't need it. It's unnecessary. When you study nutrition and you study what is actually being tested in today's day and age, we don't necessarily need to have these animal flesh and fluids into our day-to-day lives. So whether or not you should keep cooked food in your life is really up to you. I don't think that you should be too hard on yourself. If you want to eat some cooked food now and then, or maybe you want to eat cooked food every single day, more power to you, right? But if you want to feel the best, raw food is where it's at. But this is really important. You have to make sure you're tracking what you're eating. You want to make sure that you're hitting your macros and your micros, right? Because these are the kinds of things that are very, very important. If you're looking for optimum health, you're gonna do some research and you're gonna figure out what's the best for me. And maybe the best for you is to keep a cooked food meal into your day-to-day life. Not a big deal. I'm not gonna judge you, right? The only person who's gonna be judging you is yourself. So just do the best you can do. Eat a high raw diet. You don't have to be 100%. I myself am not 100% fully raw, because there are certain things that I eat in my diet that aren't necessarily considered technically raw. I don't cook anything. I eat everything is raw, but there's certain ingredients that I might include that aren't necessarily raw. So somebody could still look in and be like, you're not fully raw. I don't care. I feel amazing. I love the way I eat. I want you to do the same for yourself. Whatever's going to feel the best for you. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't beat yourself up if you have some cooked food every once in a while, or if you have cooked food every single day. If you're eating 70% of your calories that day from raw food, and then you have maybe your dinner and your dessert to have some cooked food in it. I don't know what the dessert would be, maybe like a brownie or something rather. Wait, hey, that's so much better than the majority of the population who's eating like so much funky stuff, right? All these different animal products, super highly processed foods. So these are the kinds of things you just have to ask yourself what you want. If you want to be fully raw, which is really hard to be completely fully raw, because there's certain ingredients you might really need or like to have in some of your recipes that aren't considered raw. So, whatever. It's funny, these labels and how we can have these mental acrobats over in competitions, like, well, you're not fully raw, well, you eat some cooked food, whatever. Do you, right? Do what's ever best for you. You got to make the decision for yourself whether you want to kick it to the curb or you want to keep it in your life. I personally have no problem for, I want the best for you. The best for you is going to be maybe a little different than what I feel is the best for me. But I'm not going to judge you. I just want you to understand that you don't have to be all or nothing. You can just incorporate more raw foods into your day-to-day life. You're gonna feel better. This is a really, really powerful thing. So yeah, then again, like I said, do what feels best to you. And if what feels best to you is to keep some cooked food in your life, then so be it. Not a big deal. If you're eating whole foods, low to no oil, low salt, you're doing better than the majority of the world. And that right there is gonna help other people do better, because people are gonna ask you a question. You're eating all raw food or mostly raw food. How do you do that? And then of course you're gonna have the different concepts and ideas of how you feel, and eating raw foods, it's just going to be this ripple effect. We're all going to inspire each other to eat more fresh foods. That's really what it comes down to. Let's just eat more fresh foods. We don't have to kick food to the curb. We don't have to think that cooked food is toxic and it's gonna just be the detriment to our health and well-being if we have cooked food. That right there is messing with us mentally. So yes, this is something that I know a lot of people struggle with. They might eat one cooked meal or a couple cooked meal this week, and during the week, and then they think, oh man, Nate, I tried to do the raw thing and I couldn't do it. Man, 70%, if you're eating 70%, that'd be like breakfast, snacks, lunch, all raw. You're a raw foodie, man. That is amazing. That is better than the majority of the population. Doesn't have to be all or nothing. Really just have to make up your mind what you want, what feels best to you. I do feel that everybody should try to go, eat nothing but raw foods for a month. I mean, a month is pretty amazing. After about 2-3 months, you've created a really good habit. Shopping is so fast. You've got different meals. You know what to make, and you might not want to eat very much cooked food anymore, because cooked food it's not that it's bad, it just may not be the most optimum. And of course it just depends on how you feel. But yeah, anyways, hopefully this made some sense and you got something from it. Make sure you like and subscribe and share it with your friends if you like this video. And also check out what we've got going on. We've got a meal plan app. We've got recipe books and guides. We've got courses on how to grow your own microgreens and sprout. And start incorporating more of these foods into your day-to-day life. It's going to be best. You don't have to kick anything out of your life. You just need to add more. This is really, I don't know if I should be like, this is what you need to do, but I feel that it's really best if we were to just add more raw, fresh foods into our day-to-day life. That's going to be better than not, right? So anyways, I hope you're having a great day out there. And yeah, click the link down in the description below. We got 40% off everything, raw food 40. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Love you guys.